Welcome to VSB News Online for Tuesday, December 16th. I'm Peter Kitzel. A man charged with 5 firearm offenses, including the murder of Prince Barrington Edness on December 7th, appeared in Magistrates Court this morning. VSB's Charles Webb was in court and filed this report.
Dion David Hart was charged with the December 7th murder of Prince Barrington Edness. Hart of Pembroke Parish appeared before Magistrate Tamisi Tukumbo, but was not required to answer the charges as they are indictable and will be heard in the Supreme Court. Hart was further charged with being in possession of a firearm with a barrel shorter than 24 inches and using that firearm to evade capture by the police, plus being in possession of ammunition. Hart is represented by lawyer Charles Richardson, who informed the magistrate that he would be applying for bail at a hearing set for Monday. There was a visible presence of senior detectives in the court today, and as soon as the matter was dealt with, the police officers and a number of persons believed to be Hart's supporters left the court. The police, meanwhile, are continuing their investigation of Edness's murder and are urging anyone who may have information bearing on this case to call them. In other words, if you see something, say something. For VSB News, I'm Charles Webb.
Local businessman Harold Darrell will be able to spend Christmas in his 5-apartment house on Cedar Avenue after a move to sell the property at auction this morning was unsuccessful. Brian Darby has the details.
The public auction, which took place in Magistrates Court by order of Deputy Provost Marshal and Head Bailiff Christopher Terry, attracted a number of interested buyers. But despite the best efforts of auctioneer Buddy Rigo, the bidding failed to reach the reserve price. It is understood that the auction, held under the Supreme Court's civil jurisdiction, was ordered by a government ministry. Brian Darby reporting for VSB News.
It may have looked like a dry subject, but when Finance Minister Bob Richards sought to amend the Insurance Act to allow the insurance services of friendly societies and unions to be regulated for an annual fee of $19,000, all hell broke loose in Parliament at the weekend. By the time the dust had settled, a PLP amendment had been introduced and surprisingly approved by an apparently confused chamber, and Mr. Richards had swiftly called for an adjournment that saved his bill for another day. Shadow Finance Minister David Burt had explained what his party did not like about it, and Minister Richards had replied.
We do not have any objection to the overall bill, but we do have serious questions and challenges in regards to the change in position for the long-time change position insofar as we're mutual insurance or insurance given by friendly societies and or by trade unions, specifically to their members and their members only, is now being something that is going to be subject to additional fees, additional regulation, additional capital requirements, which is something that we do not believe is in the best interest of mutual cooperation inside of the Bermuda economy. We have to talk about, in our view, we have to speak about what is the best way in making sure that we can ensure that small groups and small organizations can come amongst themselves and can offer these mutual services. And I do not believe the correct answer is the way that the government is going down the road, which is to regulate them as people who are offering insurance services to the public.
This legislation does not seek to outlaw friendly societies. Right? It does not seek to affect friendly societies at all, other than bring them within the ambit of the insurance regulation of this island. Now, I'm not going to make any comments on Bentley, other than to say whether they are legitimate or illegitimate insofar as the universe of friendly societies is concerned. The purpose of this legislation is to protect people who take insurance out, their policies, and in particular as it relates to auto insurance, is to protect people who use the roads. Because if somebody has an insurance policy from an entity that doesn't have the ability to pay a claim, and if that person goes and knocks down somebody else on a crosswalk or smashes into somebody's house or mashes into another car, who is going to pay?
Bail in the amount of $10,000 and $1,500 apiece was set today for Maxine Simmons and Michael Denbrook, who appeared before Magistrate Kamisi Tukumbo on charges of possession of cannabis and drug equipment. The pair are charged with committing the offenses on July 12th, and a trial date was set for March 24th, 2015. The cannabis had a street value of just over $20,000, and both defendants entered not guilty pleas. There has been another sign that Bermuda's economy is beginning to pick itself up off the ground. VSB News' Brian Darby tells us what it is.
The good news is that local storekeepers saw sales increase 4.4% in October, with total receipts reaching $85.7 million. Although this was primarily due to the increased demand as consumers prepared for Hurricanes Faye and Gonzalo, virtually every store type registered stronger sales than the year before. For example, liquor stores recorded the highest rise, with sales up 16.3%, pharmaceuticals rose 16.2%, furniture, appliances and electronics went up 10.1%, service stations provided 9.1% higher sales of fuel, food went up 8.2%, and building materials, for once, rose 2.1%. On the negative side, tourist-related stores suffered a 25.8% fall in sales. Apparel stores were hit with a 19.6% decrease as shops were closed by the hurricanes, and vehicle sales dipped 6.5% year over year. Residents returning from overseas declared $4.3 million, a 5% increase over October of last year. Brian Darby reporting for VSB News.
And we'll be back with more news right after this.
The Marketplace Food Court is you and your family's one-stop shop. Start your day at the Breakfast Bar with omelets made to order and traditional Bermuda codfish breakfast. The chefs will cook lunch and dinner to your liking. Along with the salad bar, sandwich bar, sushi bar, and fruit bar, the Marketplace Food Court is your kitchen away from home. Every day is hassle-free with nutritious meals from the Marketplace Food Court. Visit us 7 days a week. Homemade cooking, quality service, all at prices you can count on.
Despite the good news on the retail sales front, Bermuda is still getting caught up in the global rise in inflation. And in October, it encountered another 0.2% increase in its cost of living, the rate increasing to 2.6%, the highest for many years. Health and personal care remained the largest contributor, with a 7.4% jump in prices, while transport and vehicles went up 4.9% and food increased by 3.5% year over year. One bright light came in fuel and power, where the drop in global oil prices helped Belco to bring in a 7.9% decrease in its fuel adjustment rate. Alison Hill, CEO of the Argus Group, said today that following the success that it has had this year with its preferred provider network, an overseas network of selected medical facilities focused on patient care at prices that have led to some containment of overseas claims. The Argus Group is looking forward to its partnership with Johns Hopkins Medicine International in 2015. This will seek to prevent and manage chronic diseases and lead to the management of future healthcare costs. All this has been buoyed by the fact that Argus recorded a $10.6 million profit in the first 6 months of its current financial year, while assets increased to $2 billion. The T.N. Tatum Middle School held a recognition assembly inside the Adele Tucker Auditorium, honoring more than 100 students with academic awards. Principal Mrs. Francine McMahon explained the vision of the school, its students, and its teachers.
We have 3 parts to our vision, Dr. Seaman. And the first part of our vision at T.N. Tatum is to increase student achievement. And your presence here today and the students being awarded is indicative of our vision being lived out. Our second part, of course, is to improve instructional strategies with our staff members, which have been put in place as they have embraced the instructional shift that the ministry has put in place for middle schools. And our third prong to our vision, of course, is to enhance our parent and community partnerships. With you here this morning with us as parents, and we do have community partners, again, our vision is being brought to fruition. So again, thank you very much for helping us along with our vision. And as was stated this morning, it's not always smooth, but we will continue with our vision. We have so many students to recognize this morning, and I know my turn for remarks are a little later, but I just can't help but to say this morning because we are very proud of our students, and this is the first time that we've had so many students because we have added another category to our recognition assembly, and that category is academic excellence. We recognize that not every child is the A student, but we also recognize the efforts of every single child. So while they may not have reached the 80% and above to qualify for second honors, first honors, or principals list, we want to show them our appreciation for the efforts that they have made in attaining academic excellence this year.
And now we turn to Earl Baisden with today's sports report.
During the mountain bike racing event on Sunday in the West End, we caught up with Gabriella Arnold, who is back home from Marian University, where she is preparing for the Collegiate Cross National Championships. We asked her how she's managing school and cycling.
For the first semester, it's definitely been such a big jump from high school, I guess because the coaches and the teachers, they all work really hard for you to be able to excel in your sport, but also you definitely have to excel in the classroom. They don't want just moderate, average students, they want great students, so they really push you to focus on your studies and then get your cycling in.
Now let's turn to the cycling part. Was it what you expected?
Yeah, it was what I expected, but it's so much more. I mean, the athletes there are just incredible. They're all definitely going to go pro someday because they're all just great, and it's been really great to be able to surround myself with the people that are there that love the sport as much as I love it.
Now, coming from small Bermuda and getting amongst some talented athletes as you described, have you had the opportunity, or do you feel challenged to improve what you have come with?
Yeah, I definitely do. I mean, what I've seen from Flora winning her world championships for the Xterra, like I definitely want to pursue to be something like an athlete like Flora and put Bermuda on the map for cycling also.
Now, do you go into a road race or indoor track season? Because I know you've been doing mountain biking.
Yeah, we just finished mountain bike season after I finished track, and so now I'm doing cyclocross, which is kind of like a mix between mountain bike and road. So I'm out there on the snow, which makes the snow a little bit funner than normally, but once I get back, it's just going to be white everywhere. So I'll be on the CompuTrainer, since Marian has a CompuTrainer system there that's available to us for 24/7. So.
Dalray Rollins, Onias Bascom, Trey Manders, and Christian Burgess began taking part in the ICC High Performance Training Camp in Barbados. The four and the rest of the ICC Americas select team took part in a training session on the first morning. They had a goal-setting session, a fielding session, and a fitness test. All took place at the University of West Indies High Performance Center. The players then moved to the Kensington Oval for a net session in the afternoon. The players know what is at stake this week, as up to 6 players from the ICC Americas region are being given the chance to play for a Caribbean Premier League development contract for the 2015 CPL season. Following the 2-day Bermuda Equestrian Federation's Welcome Home show at the National Equestrian Center on Vesey Street, we can now bring you the overall team winners. The overall jumping results saw the lobster pot team of Kayla Barjett, Calby Lusher, and Carista Rebane finished first with 12 votes. Finishing in second was K&N Supplies Team 2 of Samantha Stemple, Carla Stemple, and Philip Correa, who recorded 14 votes. Finishing third was the Rayclan team of Candice Martins, Patrice Swan, and Michael Rodriguez. The Bermuda Netball Association's league season has reached the halfway stage, and now we could bring you the current leading goal scorers in the 3 divisions. Danielle Rayner from the league-leading Young Men's Social Club Lady Bluebirds is the senior league leading goal scorer with 249 goals, while Frederica Samuels from the Young Men's Social Club Blazing Bluebirds is in second with 246 goals. Alex Dolan from the Data Tech for Tees is in third with 154 goals. The Under-16 League leading goal scorer is Denori Robinson from the Steinwork Nets with 81 goals. Kamala Nazir from Data Tech Nets Greens is in second with 41 goals, and Maya Saunders from the Data Tech Nets Greens is in third with 30 goals. The current leading goal scorer in the under-12 division is Amaya Butterfield from the Nets Whites with 72 goals. Jayla Wade from the Norfolk Lady Rams is in second with 51 goals, and Zaya Wainwright from the Nets Whites is in third with 29 goals. Rebecca Heiliger and her University of Southern California women's swimming and diving teammates concluded competing in the Lee Joe Jamail Texas swimming event in Austin, Texas. Heiliger competed in just one event on the final day, finishing 60th during the women's 100-yard freestyle preliminaries, touching the wall in a time of 52:32. The Bermuda national bowling team recently took part in the World Bowling Championships in Abu Dhabi. Matched against over 270 of the world's best 10-pin bowlers, the top 3 Bermuda finishers after 24 games were Damian Matthews, who finished 119th with a total pinfall of 4,807. Jermaine De Silva finished closely behind in 124th with 4,788 pins, and David Maycock finished 183rd with 4,597 pins. In Friesenbrook Maya Continental Bowling League action at the Warwick Lanes last evening saw the Pin Jammers defeat the New Hope 18-12. The Nifty Rollers defeated the Quicky Laundry 21-9. The Spice Nicks got by the Cubs 27-3, while the Invaders defeated the Bermuda Pest Control 27.5 to 2.5, and the Oddballs defeated the Pin Splitters 18-12. I'm Earl Baisden reporting for VSB Sports.
Thanks for watching VSB News Online for Tuesday, December 16th. I'm Peter Cattell.